Alrighty, so I want to be making this one because it's a very interesting thought that I've been having. So I actually recorded a TikTok way over there just a bit ago, and now I was like, all right, okay, I'm gonna record another TikTok, and I started recording it, and then I got to the problem where the video started just getting longer and longer, and I was like, how can I spin this to be shorter? Issue is I shouldn't be spinning it to just be shorter. I'm not gonna get this under 3 minutes. Probably not gonna get this to over 10 minutes, but we'll see as I just continue walking, and I'm gonna be talking about this. You'll hear dogs and cars and noises. Ignore that and listen to me. It's not like a super serious theory, it's just a lot of noises. But this theory is to do with 1107, and it's to do with the Giants. Because I actually got a lot of my questions answered. Because I was wondering a lot of things, like how did the Giants get off of the island? How did they get off of Little Garden? How did they know to go to Egghead? Because by all means, there should be no news going from Egghead, because this is Saint Saturn who's there. It's one of the 5 elders. He would definitely be saying, hey, make sure no information. And this is also on Egghead, which is, definitely not information that you want being leaked or accidentally seen by potential pirates or by the Revolutionary Army or something, right? So obviously there shouldn't be any reason for the news to be there, but they were, because that's how the Giants know to go there. The Giants had seen the newspaper because, as I believe it's Atlas, one of the Vegapunk bodies, is saying, well, it seems as though they were told, they had to have seen the news or something, and the news has to be spinning the Marines into good light. Except, it feels a little odd with that right now. Because the way things are going, especially with the end of, I think it was like 1105, 1106, when we had seen the Giants for the first time, and they say, hey, we're here to pick up Luffy, or should we call him the Sun God? Now, the question is do they know him as the Sun God beforehand? Like, did they see his picture and maybe Shanks, or just because of their, their lineage being giant and stuff, did they somehow know that because of the white hair and stuff, that this is, Nika now? This is no longer just the gum fruit, this is actually the human fruit model Nika. So it's like, how do they know? Because if they didn't know beforehand, then they had to have seen the newspaper and been like, hey, on Egghead, that's our boy, that's the Sun God. Which means that maybe somebody like Big News Morgan's one of the more honest and, I don't want to say on the pirate side, but one of the more fair and trustworthy news sources. Somebody who is honest with everything, not all on the Marine side, lying, even he's kind of like hated Marines at this point. So could he have gotten there in time? Because last we saw him, he was at Marijois, he was at the Revelry, and he's just picked up Wapple and Vivi to kind of, give me just a second. Sorry, as I was saying, he had just picked up Wapple and Vivi, and now he is like escorting them away because, whoa, big news! Like they actually have like earth-shattering news from the thing that Wapple had seen, the fact that Vivi just lost her father. It's like this huge thing is about to be going on, right? So what if they're moving towards Egghead? They see the news, but then, they have gotten the news out, but their whole like airship thing is like a whole press recording room, so they easily could have started getting messages out, but it's so insane, because how could the news have gotten out so fast? Because it just happened, right? So I'm waiting on all that on the news, and definitely want to be curious on who it is, because if it is on the Marine side, then all of this is going to be such a bizarre story to try and hear, because it's like, why would Saint Saturn and Kizaru be there fighting an emperor? Because the emperor was like, he is, you're gonna spin it that he was attacking Egghead, and then because he's gonna be dead. But then what happens when or if Rob Lucci and Kaku or any of the Vegapunk bodies go with Luffy and with the Straw Hats? Are you gonna spin that they're being brainwashed, or that they're traitors of the world government? Because as we saw, we already know that one of the CP0 members, or one of the members, was like actually a traitor. She was the vampire and part of the Vegapunk crew. So it's like, we already have this traitor, so what if more of them begin to betray? What if more of them see like, oh wow, they just really don't care about us? As I said in the YouTube video as well, there's a part when Lucci is talking to Zoro and he says, sometimes it's better to cut off the arm from the body so the body can live. Basically saying that Zoro is a dead weight and that the Straw Hats should leave him. Except it seems more like that Lucci is saying it to himself. That he's trying to say, hey Zoro, you're the dead arm, you need to be cut off. When in reality, he's saying like, hey, I'm dead weight, I'm gonna be dead anyway, so like, should I keep fighting at this point, right? So kind of at this point, it does seem like there might be a swap side, whether onto Luffy's crew or onto Sword. Don't know yet, but it does seem like more and more government people are going to be splitting, and this might start seeing the public, with the news coming in, this might start having the public see, oh, maybe there's cracks in the world government, maybe the Marines have some corruption, maybe these guys aren't so good. Perhaps they even see Saint Saturn in like his monstrous, grotesque form. Because let's be fair, if you always see celestial nobles and they're supposed to be these perfect beings, these highly beautiful creatures in a way, even though none of them are good looking or anything, but you first see the one of the five Gorosei as this monstrous, hideous, demonic creature. That would definitely sway the opinions of seeing that versus what Luffy looks like, who is this embodiment of just still a human-like, just human appearance, but just laughing and just vibrating, having this completely different dynamic of white versus black, good versus evil. It might be the first switch to see, that there is some yang in the yin, and there's some yin and the yang type of situation that the world will see for the first time, because whoever is spinning this may reveal to the world exactly what has been going on this entire time. And Big News Morgans would be the one to be able to break that and for people to hear and believe it in a mass way. So the news seems to be a very important thing coming up on probably I'd probably say the next 4 chapters or so. I think we'll find out who dropped the news, and whoever it is going to be a big name. It's not going to be just like, here's a newspaper. That newspaper is going to reveal so much information, whether to us or information we knew, but it's going to be the first time that it's thrown to the public, that every in-universe character will finally know what we know, that that Kuma was not a bad tyrant, that the warlord system was, like the pacifista system, how Kuma was punished and all this stuff with Bonnie, like how much is actually going to be revealed, or how much of it is going to be covered up. That's what's going to determine, I say. And, we'll see it within the month, within, these 4 chapters, and it's going to be big. I don't know. I started rambling there, sorry, but yeah. As I keep going, I wanted to cover one last thing, and it's there at the start. And I mentioned it at the start of this video as well. I didn't even cover it because I got so sidetracked with like the big part of the theory, which is the news. But it's to do with them getting off of Little Garden and them getting to like all this stuff here. So presumably how they got off of Little Garden is actually pretty simple now. It's Ormo and Kashi, who are the 2 giants who are part of the Marines. 50 years ago, they had intended to come and get their captains, Dory and Baragi, off of Little Garden, but unfortunately they were captured by Marines and have been Marines for a while, but they were freed by Luffy and the crew, right? So they went back to Little Garden and they picked them up. So that answers that question. How did they get off of Little Garden? Which makes total sense. We knew that they had wanted to get them off of Little Garden originally, and now they can't, they're free. But then the question is why did they join Shanks' crew? Because if you're thinking in your head, well, Oimo and Kashi, the last people they saw were Luffy and the crew, and they were probably more thinking like, hey, if we're going to be a part of anyone's, help anybody's, team, it would probably be these 2, because they got us out of the Marines and they let us know that our captains are still around. And then the captains, as far as we know, Dory and Baragi, last seen were with the Straw Hats. They had just seen that they had, ended their whole entire feud. They had basically settled it, and they're gonna, now they basically helped them also get off of the island by freeing Ormo and Kashi from their indentured servitude. So, by all means, like in the back of the head, it's like, why would you not join the Straw Hats? Especially seeing that Harudegarn, or that's definitely not his name, that's Dragon Ball, but the giant who was at Dressrosa, I believe his name starts with an H, he was also freed and helped by the Straw Hats, and he even joins the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So like all these giants joining up with the Straw Hats, but then is it just like they just go and they join the Red Hair Pirates? And it's like, okay, now why would you join the Red Hairs? Is it because they were protecting Elbaf, or is there another reason? Is it because when they see Shanks, there's, maybe something with Goldie Roger, or maybe, there's like some extra meaning, they went back to Elbaf first, and then because Shanks were there, he, convinced them because he explained all that's going on, because he knows more than he's letting on. Shanks certainly knows way much more, which I talked about a bit in the origin video, but it is just so curious to see where the giant stuff is going, because that's the main story stuff, right? They're going to be talking about like why they joined, why they're there, why they picked them up, and all that. But I want to know about the news. That's what I'm more interested in, is who was the news source? Is it spin positively? Is it spin in the Marines? Is it spin for the pirates? Is it just a neutral thing that's presenting exactly what's happening? How did it get out so fast? How did it get to Elbaf so fast? Or was it even the news? Or was it, perhaps somebody sent out like an alert system like, hey, we need help. And this entire time, Egghead has been, thinking that they were part of the Marines, think they had him, but secretly they had a red hair flag waving behind them, right? So the second the red hair flag, one of their bases was being attacked, he knew and send somebody out, right? But it's like all the things. It also could be because of what happened on Wano, because he saw a kid arrive at his place at Elbaf. Then Shanks could have been like, well, I know that Luffy was there. What if I angle it that way? He could be at Egghead. Let's send the boys at Egghead, and got it right. Waiting on that, but we'll see. I'm guessing within the next 4 chapters, we will be answered on the news, at least. I don't know if we'll make it to Elbaf, depending on how quickly everything goes. I think we'll definitely get answers, but I don't think we'll make it to Elbaf within the 4 weeks, but we'll definitely get news answers. So stick tuned for that. I will break down everything. I'll talk about everything as soon as I can on it. I think it's going to be great. It's crafting up to be something spicy. So stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, stick around, because I be doing this way too much. Well, not often enough, but the overthinking, I do too much. Stay tuned for it.